Ethan, a senior in high school, had been secretly in love with his classmate Isabella for years. He admired her from afar, but never had the courage to say how he felt. One day during literature class, the teacher called him to the front to discuss a character in the novel. A man deeply in love, but too afraid to express his feelings. Ethan was nervous and lost in thought, trying to relate the character's emotions to his own. As he started speaking, instead of analyzing the story, he blurted out, "Well, it's like me. I'm in love with Isabella." The class fell silent for a moment before erupting in laughter. Isabella turned bright red and quickly looked away, unsure of how to react. The teacher, clearly caught off guard, tried to lighten the mood, but said, "You think your analysis is certainly heartfelt, but let's focus on the text." Ethan spent the rest of the day dodging jokes from his classmates and wishing he could disappear. Despite the embarrassment, his unintentional confession became the talk of the school and something he and Isabella would remember for a long time. During a school assembly, Olivia, a shy girl, excused herself to use the restroom. Unbeknownst to her, the wireless microphone she had used earlier for a presentation was still on. While the principal gave a serious speech, the entire auditorium heard the unmistakable sounds of Olivia humming, flushing, and washing her hands. When she returned, the principal calmly said, "Thank you, Olivia, for reminding us to wash our hands." She avoided eye contact with everyone for a week. Sophia had a huge crush on her senior, Andrew. One day she spotted him sitting in the college cafeteria, and her friends dared her to casually walk by and accidentally drop her notebook near his table to start a conversation. She nervously agreed, but as she walked past, her foot caught on the edge of a chair and she tripped, sending her tray of spaghetti flying right onto Andrew's lap. Horrified, she started apologizing, but Andrew just laughed and said, "Well, I guess you made an impression." Although she wanted to disappear, Andrew later asked her out, saying, "If we've already had our most embarrassing moment, we might as well get coffee." Jessica, a shy college student, was writing a love letter to her crush, Ethan. She poured her heart into the note, describing how his smile lit up her world and how she secretly admired him from afar. But when she finished, her notebook slipped out of her bag and landed right in front of Ethan during a group study session. Ethan picked it up and, thinking it was just notes, read the entire letter out loud to the group. Jessica turned beet red and stammered, "That's just an example of creative writing." Ethan laughed and said, "Great plot twist. Who is the inspiration?" She never lived it down, but at least Ethan started smiling at her more often. Via, a socially anxious student, rushed into what she thought was her English literature class. She quietly took a seat, pulled out her notebook, and started taking notes. It wasn't until the professor asked, "And how do these economic policies affect modern trade?" that she realized she was in a business seminar. Too embarrassed to leave mid-lecture, she sat through the entire 90-minute class, nodding and pretending to understand. At the end, the professor asked her for her thoughts, and she blurted out, "Trade is important?" She bolted out of the room and prayed never to cross paths with that professor again.